river and ravines have a voice and communities take the lead. Each week, we dive into the heart of the Flowing Clean project, discussing the most recent activities, giving insight into upcoming ones. We will uncover the science and the solutions behind clean, healthy rivers. From expert guests to local champions, this is your source for inspiration, information, and action about this project. Flowing Clean is funded by Jeff SGP UNDP and ProCarry Plus, and this program is made possible by SRDF as our collaborating and funding partner. Join us on Flowing Clean because every drop counts and the river depends on you. Flowing Clean, restoring our rivers together. Keep the river clean. Good morning, Sufre. Welcome to another edition of Flowing Clean, and I am your host, Nadia Kazabo. We have been off for the past 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, and we are back on air as of today. And there is a lot that I need to go through with you as to what it is that we have done, what it is that we have coming up, and when you can participate. So for us, we have done quite a bit, and let me go in chronological order. The next time you pass on the Sufra Bridge, I invite you to stop and take a look over the bridge on the western side towards the sea, towards the mouth of the river, and you will observe a black plastic, what do we call it? A skirt, a boom, that is extended across the entire width of the Sufra River. That, my dear friends, is our litter boom. And the purpose of the litter boom is simple. It is to trap any garbage that is floating downstream behind the boom and prevent it from flowing all the way to the Sufra River. On the 1st of April, we held a launching ceremony, a deployment of the Sufra litter boom. This is the second litter boom to be installed in St. Lucia. The first, we installed it in the Shock River, and this is the second litter boom to be installed. We have 2 other rivers where the district representatives are very keen on getting us to install in their constituencies, in their rivers. So we will be working on that, hopefully, within this year. But this is the second one. The aim and the purpose, like I said, is to stop floating garbage from going into the sea where it is unsightly. But not only that, when it sinks to the bottom of the ocean, or if it is a plastic bag, when it's floating in the column of water in the sea, it is affecting marine life. And we have turtles that eat garbage bags. They mistake it for jellyfish. Other fish nibble on it, thinking it is jellyfish. We also have, when we dive, sometimes you can ask the rangers, ask any of the divers you know from Sufra. When they dive, they find garbage littering the seabed, covering coral, covering the little holes where fish live, make their homes, covering the seagrass beds, encouraging algae to grow. So when we throw things, I want persons to start thinking, when you throw a bottle on the ground and it rains, that bottle ends up in the gutter, then in the river, and then in the sea. Our actions on land are affecting what is happening in the sea, and you might not know it, but the water quality in the river, the water quality around us is beginning to affect our health, our human health, in a negative way. Let me repeat that. The actions that we take on land affects the quality of water, affects the fish, the birds, the animals, and the plants that live in the river and the sea. And to us, if you throw something, if you're done with it, you'll be surprised. When we tested fish, we found the microplastics in almost every species of fish. A study was done a few years ago from the University of St. George's, and they collected fish samples from islands throughout the Eastern Caribbean, and they found plastic in the stomach and microplastics in almost every single fish that was collected. That means when you eat fish, you're ingesting plastics. So if you think throwing it on the ground, or if you see somebody throw it on the ground and they don't even bother, it's beginning to affect our health. And this is a scary, scary prospect for us. We live in a community that is blessed with natural resources, and we are not being the stewards that God called us to be, to take care of the land and everything that dwells on it, take care of the sea and everything that dwells within it. We need to change and to monitor what is happening and to call on and call out those who we see littering. There is nothing wrong with holding your garbage until you get to your home and putting it in the garbage bin. It is yours. We have been doing community cleanups. So far, we have done Fongelib, Riverside, Barons Drive, all the way to Margaret Hoot, Espérance, and Mini. And we have collected over 6 tons of garbage, bulky waste, plastic that we have taken to the landfill. We are going to continue the cleanups, and we are starting very soon with Market Road, Wavinclair, New Development, and Belvedere. And I am calling on other communities. If you identify a location in your community that you think needs to be cleaned up, please contact us. Please contact me. My number is 519-2425. Contact me via email. You can go on the website, www.mywaterways.org. You will get the contact information for me. And we want to continue these cleanups so that when we get done, when we are done, we want that to be the starting point for everybody in Soufrière to monitor what is happening and to stop anybody else from littering their communities and their rivers. We also launched 2 music videos. Arthur's music video for the Flowing Clean song that you have been hearing every time I am on the show. In fact, this is the song that I use as our opening and closing for the show, as well as the skit that the Soufrière Action Theatre youth put together for this project. These 2 videos will be posted online, and we will be sharing it with the schools when school reopens, doing school visits and having the schools view this video, playing them the song. And we want everybody to start paying attention to what is happening in and around their community that is beginning to affect their health. We completed a survey, a community survey, where we interviewed a little over 300 persons from Soufrière to ask them questions about how they view the Soufrière River, how they view water in general, how they view natural resources, whether they would be interested in composting or trash separation. And the results so far are very, very interesting. Generally, and I am very pleased to say, the majority, over 60% of Soufriérians value our natural resources very, very highly. We place great value on our natural resources. But if you look around and you see what is happening in the community, if you look around and you observe the streets, When the town council workers are going through the streets twice a day, why is there wheelbarrows filled with garbage? If the town council workers decided that they were not going to sweep the streets for a week and to do work that other community, municipality workers actually do in beautification, in landscaping, and they left the garbage on the ground, can you imagine how dirty Soufrière would be? We have this bad habit in this country, and I don't see it anywhere else. I've been to almost every single island in the Eastern Caribbean, from Trinidad all the way to the Virgin Islands, and I don't see it anywhere else where people would say if they don't throw garbage on the ground, the town council workers will have no work to do. Where did we get that nasty mentality? When did we develop this lack of respect for people that you would think dropping your garbage on the ground, it is somebody else's job to pick it up and put it in the garbage bin? When did we develop this concept that we cannot be responsible for garbage that we generate? Come on, Soufrière people. Come on, St. Lucians. Boz Cartel held a massive cleanup in the Kokodan area last month. We just saw on the news, it made the news, Venus and Irvin and a couple of other guys highlighting that some people are utilizing the area between the landings and Grosley Town as a garbage dump, when Dayglow is just there and they're being paid to dispose of their garbage. We had another young lady who was unfortunate. She paid somebody over his asking price to take garbage from her home to the landfill, and he decided to dump it over a precipice on the back road somewhere. I forget the exact location. In my own family, we had somebody do the same thing. We paid him to dump garbage in Vieux-Fort. He drove up Church Street. Next thing, a couple weeks later, we were getting a call. Why is there garbage in Bouton with our address on it? It is high time that the law enforcement starts charging people the maximum fines when they are caught littering, especially the truck drivers who are being paid. They're being paid and choosing to dump garbage illegally. We have several spots in Soufrière. One that is a headache for our solid waste zonal officer for Soufrière. On the way to Fongelib in the Deville area, somebody keeps dumping garbage. I have a trail cam. I am going to place that trail cam in that area and identify the truck driver and pass that information not just to the Solid Waste Authority, but also to the Soufrière Police. And when we find out who is doing it, I will come out here and make it known publicly. Because you cannot tell me you're being paid to dump garbage, but you are so dishonest. You will dump your garbage illegally off a precipice into a ravine that flows down. And the Assiniboine River was one of the most pristine rivers in St. Lucia. I was boasting when we tested that water quality in 2009, 2010, that the water at the mouth of the river was almost potable water. The water was so clean You could have drunk from it and not gotten sick from bacteria. But now, because of the actions of just a couple persons, they are affecting an entire river system. The people who are doing it, this is your warning. I am also under this project exploring the possibility of collecting some garbage around Soufrière, testing it to see whether we can get DNA from it. Did you know that when you drop your bottles that you have drunk from, or anything that you have held, your body cells remain on it, your saliva has your DNA on it? DNA now, you can get paid. And if you decide that, hey, I can dump my garbage there, I can pick it up because you have discarded it. I can pick it up, swab it, and I will see if I can get some DNA from it. This is your public notice that I am interested to see whether we can actually recover some DNA from some of the plastic bottles that we find around town. Start putting your garbage in the bin where it is supposed to go. Start respecting yourself and the rest of us St. Lucians. We talk about being proud Lucians, but we're not seeing it. If you're proud of your country, why are you trashing it? If you are proud of your community, why are you littering it? When we were installing the litter boom, and I want to say a very public thank you to Peter Butcher and Tristan from SMMA, to Lysander, Ashley, Kelvin, and his crew from the Soufrière Regional Development Foundation, and from as well to Niall and Clinton from the Soufrière Town Council for their assistance in helping us install the litter boom. When we were putting this litter boom in, Rawl was amazed to see an Atkinson in the Soufrière River that was over a foot long. We have some big fish in the Soufrière River. But right now, I will not encourage anybody to go fishing in the Soufrière River at any point because of what I know is in the water. And think about it. All the pig farms and the animals that we have in the Soufrière River and in the ravines, in the drains, where do you think their feces is going? If those animals have tapeworms or other parasites, they're mammals. Those things would affect us too. If we are thinking of all the chemicals that is flowing into the river, not just from farms, and the farmers are one of the big groups that contribute unknowingly in some instances to the chemicals that end up in the river, because some persons do not utilize the chemicals according to the instructions. If it tells you a teaspoon to a gallon, some persons are of the view that if I double it, the plants will get more. That's not how it works. If the plants can only take up a certain amount based on the concentration, adding more is not going to make the plant absorb more. The plant can only absorb what it can absorb. So all the extra that you're wasting, those farmers are wasting, it's in the soil. When it rains and the water runs along the ground, all these chemicals get dissolved in the water and they run off. So the farmers are wasting their money because they're not utilizing those chemicals properly. But also these extra chemicals are entering our waterways, our ravines, our streams, and into the river and causing high nitrogen levels in the river. That's why you see all that moss and algae growing in the river because it's full of nutrients. Algae and moss is a plant, a fungus. They need nutrients to grow. And the river is filled with nutrients. So they're very happy growing in there. But think of our homes as well. We have over 8,000 residents in Soufrière. Everybody takes a shower with soap. You wash your hair with shampoo and conditioner. You brush your teeth with toothpaste. For the boys and the girls who have all these chemicals that they put in their hair to shave, aftershave, all these chemicals, when you shower, goes down the drain in your bathroom, enters the gutter, flows into the river. And from the river, it flows into the sea. In your kitchen sink, all the dish soap that you use, no matter what brand, all the chemicals contained in there, all the oils, all those disinfectants for when you mop your house and you clean, all those things flow into the river. A few years ago, a St. Lucian, she's now lecturing at a university, Trent University in Canada, by the name of Dr. Marsha Serville Tertullier. She tested water along the Soufrière River at several points. And what she found showed that there was caffeine levels so high from Font Saint-Jacques and getting higher and higher all the way down to the mouth of the river. Caffeine. Where do you think the caffeine is from? From coffee. She tested for some other chemicals. But what her research shows was that we have a lot of wastewater flowing into the Soufrière River and the ravines. And this is not unique only to St. Lucia. This happens island-wide. So when I say I would not advise anybody to fish in the Soufrière River, think of all what those fish are swimming through. And it is going through their gills and absorbing into their skin, into their flesh. So, this project, the goal of this project is to get persons to stop dumping garbage, green waste, oil, and several other chemicals in the Soufrière River. If we can get at least half, because 60% of you at least said that you value the river very high. If 60% of you will change your behaviors, we will see the water quality improving by at least 60%, right? But that's not enough. Because like I mentioned before, the people who litter is not the majority. It's very few persons who are littering. And their actions are affecting the entire community. So we want to start monitoring. We want people to start monitoring. If you see somebody dumping something when they should not, and we have a bulk waste collection day to put your bulk waste out. If you see somebody dumping something illegally, don't hesitate to contact solid waste to report it. Don't hesitate to speak to them if you want to speak to them first to see if they will remove it. If we don't start monitoring, becoming stewards and guardians of our community, we will reach a point when nothing will cause it to improve and get better. We are coming close to that tipping point. That point is called the tipping point, the point where nothing you do can bring it back to where it was before. We will be starting a social media campaign. We got trained in using social media to create better ads, better posts, better videos to get the message across and to create messages that will help people think about what they're doing and help them understand what they need to do to change their behaviors. When you see these posts coming out, I would love for you to share these posts. Share it widely on all your platforms because it cannot come from just Waterways and the foundation. If we want it to be seen by the majority of the community, we need persons from around the community sharing it on all their platforms as well. It's not going to take you more than a minute for you to click share. So when we start putting out these posts, I will be calling on you to share those posts as well. We have coming up a legislative review. In fact, this afternoon, as soon as I'm done here, I am going to be driving up to Castries to meet with a lawyer who we will be contracting to review existing legislation in St. Lucia that pertain to pollution. And for us to identify, well, for the lawyer and the lawyer's team, to identify where the legislation is weak, where the legislation is outdated, and to make recommendations that we will send to the Attorney General's office for review. Because we need to increase the maximum fine for some of these pollution incidents from $5,000. That $5,000 has been there from before 1979, when $5,000 was a lot of money. So the legislation definitely needs to be reviewed and amended. But that lawyer is also going to be doing training for the police and the magistrates so that if the police see somebody dropping a bottle, they can issue you a ticket and they will know exactly which regulation to charge you under. But before we get to that point, from July of last year, we've been talking about changing behaviors to stop littering, and it is continuing. So now we are getting to the point where we will be bringing in law enforcement. And we will be doing some training with the magistrates so that when those cases come before them, those cases will not get dismissed. Those cases and those perpetrators will not get a small fine of only $500. We want the fine to reflect what it is that they did to get them to change their behavior. So this is the legislative review. We have the cancer survey that will be coming up soon as well. An epidemiological study of illnesses in Soufrière by community for us to see, is there a cluster of any illness that is occurring in Soufrière? For us to see whether we can identify cases of gastroenteritis that is happening around Soufrière. How widespread is it? I mentioned on the last show that Soufrière was the #1 community with the most cases of gastroenteritis for all of 2025, and it was the same for 2024. What is the cause of all the gastroenteritis? Is it something that is foodborne, waterborne, or airborne? This entire project links environmental health to our human health. We are seeing it. No research has been done. We're starting it in Soufrière. We are starting it in Soufrière to find out whether there is a relationship between our water quality and the health. If persons are drinking spring water, where are those springs that located? Test the springs and find out if the spring has anything that they should not be drinking the spring water. And we have found that. So I would want all of us as a community to start spreading the word, to get a community effort, a united community front. When we say we want Soufrière to be litter free, we want to set the example for St. Lucia. We want our community to be the leaders for the entire country, to say, when you come to Soufrière, you find our community clean, leave it clean. We will be having a planning meeting on the 24th for us to go through the project and to see, because we have realized some financial savings, what else can we do? And the first thing that persons asked for was litter bins around the community. Solid Waste is hesitant about us putting litter bins, garbage bins around the community because of precedent, things that have happened in the past and continue to happen in some areas where there are garbage bins present. Persons choose to drop the garbage next to the bin, not in the bin. Or they will take their household bags of garbage and put it in a public bin that is meant for a plate or a cup or a bottle. No, Solid Waste has a regular garbage collection twice a week. Keep your garbage at home so that when we put our bins around town, don't come and put your bags in our bins. Those bins are for persons who are walking around. You drink a bottle of water, you drink a box of juice, you can place it in the bin. We know as well too, some of our street people, they like to go and rummage through the garbage. We'll be working with the social workers, the mental health staff at the hospital, and the police, if we need to get them to stop that habit. So we want, when we place our beautiful garbage bins that are brightly painted, beautifully decorated, that they are used for the intended purpose. So when we hold our meeting, we will be discussing all of that. We also have an upcoming marine trash meeting for us to discuss how do we manage garbage coming from overseas, foreign waste. The boat boys who have been used to being paid $5 per bag to take the yacht's garbage off their yachts and dumping it at Margaret Tooth or dumping it together with normal garbage. That's not supposed to happen. We are violating international law by doing that. So that needs to stop. There's a lot that is continuing. As school reopens, we will be starting our school clubs for them to start monitoring the water, the river in the area, the ravine close to the schools, doing some cleanups around the schools as well, and engaging the community through our continued community meetings. So I will be restarting in May our community meetings and presenting the results of our water quality testing, presenting the results of our community survey, presenting our programs for each community. because we are also going to be launching our micro grants for communities. What is the micro grant? We want communities to identify a project that they will do. So every single community, Fongelib, Etangs, Chateau Belair, Belfort, Belplain, Rabot, every little community, if you can come together, put together a small committee, identify a project that you want to do, whether it is to beautify a spot in your area, do a cleanup in your area, something that would benefit our environment and be in line with what this project is doing. We will provide at least $5,000 for the communities to conduct these projects. You heard me right. We want the communities to come together, come up with a project, contact us when we launch the microgrants call, and we will work with you to develop a small project proposal for you to do a project in your community. We're not paying anybody. We will be providing materials, purchasing supplies. We want it to be you taking pride and ownership in your community. We'll be putting up some community signs. Welcome to Wavinclay, home of the 2 tallest waterfalls in St. Lucia. Welcome to Chateau Belair, home of the Tet Paul Nature Trail. Come up with your slogan for your community. We will be making signs, community signs that say welcome to whichever community, and you come up with your slogan. Please keep our community clean. Take photographs, leave nothing but footprints. Come up with your slogans. We are going to pay for it through this project. Now I am come to the end of our show, our half-hour program for today. I want to thank all those who joined and listened to us. And we are going to have a guest joining us next week to talk about some of what it is that we are going to be implementing in terms of our community composting project. Join me next week for another exciting show on Flowing Clean. I want to thank Ken for sending us a comment. I saw when you commented, you were laughing at what I said. But yeah, I mean, nobody should be throwing garbage and expecting somebody else to pick it up for them. That's just being plain nasty. If you have an empty bottle, if you have a plate you finish eating, find a garbage bin to put it in. Don't drop it. It is not the responsibility of the town council workers to be picking up garbage. It's because we have been disposing of our garbage, littering illegally, that they're doing this now. That's not what they were supposed to be doing. If you go to Martinique, you see the workers, they are on the highway, they are keeping the grass off the road, keeping the drains clear so that the water flows properly. That's what's supposed to be happening, not picking up garbage every single day or removing grass from the side of the road. Come on, Suferians. We can do better. Let us be the community that decides, and we are going to keep it that way, litter free. Let us set the standard, set the bar for that for St. Lucians. Let other communities follow us. Let us be the trendsetters. And I want to say, have a wonderful rest of the week. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you next week.
All you was right there.